Welcome to show number 124, Getting Involved, coming to you from the live from downtown Mawa, from the not so shitty dining room studios here at 356. I can't give my address over the
Hey, don't do
air.
that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm not editing that, by the way.
My mob of fans, I didn't give this. But anyway, so we are here live. Also, we're coming from downtown Matawan with your friend and mine, Dave Sturchio, behind the glass, even though there's no glass. And Dave, what's up, buddy?
Oh, little this, little that. Yeah, it's funny. I was actually brought it up to my dad the other day. He's like, "Oh, Jimmy doesn't come down to your studio anymore to do the podcast." I was like, No. You got to see this luxurious dining room table he's got.
Dining room table. Well, so, I save money. I save on tolls.
This is true. All $7. You got to be careful.
And a two-hour commute. Why don't you come up here to my studios here?
Oh yeah, we'll sit down, have a cup of coffee.
Yes.
We'll post about it.
Who gives them? There it is. Of course, we got Dying Breed Garage checking in on the chat room, and also Tyson Hogan getting involved here on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn might be my best power forward in the game right now. I was just going to
say, yeah.
I hit threes from LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But anyway, of course, now show number 124. I can't believe we've been doing this for 124 shows here from the Omni in Atlanta, getting involved here. I just got all my catchphrases. I'm wearing my Corona shirt, softball. Played a little softball this weekend. More on that in a bit. All right. Now, of course, I grabbed my stack of baseball cards, and now I have a guy. My 1982 card, played 13 years in the league. I consider him, and what I'm about to say, I love when I give wrong sports opinions. This guy to me was the first power hitting shortstop that I became aware of. He hit the long ball. His name is Roy.
I was going to say, don't tell. I would have tried to guess, but
Roy Smalley. You wouldn't have got Roy Smalley. Now, Roy Smalley. Okay, Roy Smalley. Roy Smalley. He batted lifetime batting average 257, 163 home runs, 694 RBIs, 1,400 hits. He was a shortstop. Played with the Twins, Yankees, Texas, and the White Sox. Now, he played with the Yankees 82, 83, and 84. He pretty much batted like 262, but he hit 45 home runs, which is like almost 15 a year, I guess.
So he's a Hall of Famer.
Another guy making $27 million a year now. The Yankees got him for Paul Boris, Ron Davis, and Greg Gagne. Other shitty players there. He hit for power, and he was a switch hitter. His dad, Roy Jr., played. He's Roy Smalley III. His dad, Roy Jr., he played Major League Baseball for a while. And his uncle is Gene Mauch, longtime Angels manager. He was the manager of the Angels when the Angels lost. When Donnie Moore gave up the 3-run home run to Henderson, Angels, what the hell is it? Angels against, who the hell would it have been? Who the hell they played? Angels Red Sox in 86. You don't realize, go back and look at that, man. The Angels had it. They were one strike away from going to the World Series.
And that's the Bucky freak. I mean, it's the Buckner series, though?
No, Henderson, that year.
No, I'm saying that year. Wow.
Reggie was in the dugout shaking hands. They thought they had it. And Henderson hit a 3-run home run, and 3 years later, the pitcher killed himself. But that was his uncle, Gene Mauch. Yeah, look into that. There's actually a 30-on-30 on it. It's terrible. But what I loved about it was a classic quote by Tommy John on Roy Smalley. He said, now, Tommy John was a ground ball pitcher, okay? So when you're a ground ball pitcher, all you want is to have studs in the infield because that way you can pitch a 3-hitter every week. He was like, he has no range. He should be a DH. Supposedly Roy
coming from the Tommy John.
Yeah, he was not a good defensive player, but he won a World Series. Ended up back with the Twins. He won a World Series in '87, and now he's a Bally Sports analyst for the Twins games. He does them on the radio. Good hitter, no fielder, and on the back of his baseball card is very funny to me. I remember the anonymous stupid things they had on the back of baseball cards.
Yeah, like a fun fact. Yeah,
right. Willie Randolph drew a walk in each of his last 15 games in the 1980 season. Who gives a shit? And
the other one is Smalley's card?
Yeah. The other one is Ken Forsch hurled the major league's only no-hitter of the 79 season. It's like, all right. It's like
But I found that hilarious. That like this is a Smalley card, and they're like, "Hey, can we pull up a good fact about some? We got nothing. All right, let's talk about somebody else then. Put it on.
I just feel like to be on the back of this card to say Jimmy Palumbo has done 124 podcasts here on the Jimmy Palumbo Show. But anyway, Roy Smalley, he still does baseball games involving the game, and that's his deal there. So who do you got?
Well, you told me my assignment last week.
You had an assignment, yes.
Was to pull together which a lousy tight end between Jay Novacek and Jason Witten. And I'm talking about Cowboys and training camps in full swing. We're excited about it. There's actually a game to be played on Thursday, the Hall of Fame game, the Jets and the Browns. So we're here. It's football season. So I found your friend and mine, Mr. David LaFleur. Now,
I don't remember. Wow.
Okay,
he started?
Did he start? So David LaFleur was drafted in 1997 as Troy Aikman's pick. Troy ran to the front office and said, "You got to get this guy. He's the guy. He's 6'7". He's coming at LSU. He's a big boy. So let's get him on the roster. I need somebody new, only because Jumpin' Jay Novacek was the guy for years. So now we need somebody
Was his father Guy LaFleur, the hockey player?
I don't know. It might have been LaFleur from the dodgeball. But so 97, he played 16 games. Okay, his rookie year, he caught 18 balls, Jimmy. So some people are doing that in one game now.
Yeah,
in 1998, he played 13 games. He caught a whopping 20 balls. Career high in 1999. He played all 16 games. He caught 35 balls, right? And in 2000, Aikman's last year, remember, this was Aikman's savior. He caught 15 balls. He played 15 games, caught 12 balls. His total yards for his career of 4 years, here we go, 729. So again, wow. That is one season by a good tight end right now. So this guy took 4 years to have those kind of numbers.
You know what?
He was obviously a bust.
I don't remember him, and I should have.
Well, that's why, because he was actually coverable by the Giants. The Giants could actually cover this guy.
Covered him.
Yeah.
Aikman was always Aikman had a very good offensive line in front of him, and he used to dump it off to the wide open tight end. So even this guy LaFleur, you're acting like he still caught, I guarantee you, somewhere in his highlight, he had 3rd and 9 at 10 yards.
All right, ready for this? So just to give you an idea,
against the Giants, how many catches did he have?
His longest reception was 25 yards.
Okay, so
his best year, again, 99. He caught 35 balls. He actually caught 7 touchdowns.
And the Cowboys didn't win shit either.
The Cowboys were brutal. Brutal. Aikman's final years, Emmett's final years out of there. Irvin was already done. The Cowboys dynasty was dead.
Tom LaFleur. What's Tom LaFleur?
David. Great name. David LaFleur.
David LaFleur.
Yeah.
We have David LaFleur, shitty tight end. Next week I want another shitty Cowboy tight end. That's your assignment number 2.
I got plenty.
and because you had the 2 greatest tight ends ever. And so we got David LaFleur and Roy Smalley, no fielder, good hitting, power hitting shortstop. And that brings us to Patreon. We, of course, the streak is ended. We are stuck at 34.
Charles Oakley.
Listen, we're stuck at Charles Oakley, and who's just at Absolute Eyewear selling his glasses. Ricky Henderson, Verlander, Messina, Ike Forte, another shitty player around the Giants.
Verlander possibly on the move. You hear about this?
Yeah, I'm hearing about it. I just, we'll get to baseball in a second.
Do we have to?
The Mets are selling, yes. Don Gullett. So we got no 35s here. No 35. I can't even think of. It's probably a Rutgers guy, 35. But we're mired. But I just want to give a little shout. I'm going to give a shout out to Kyle Kerms and Will Pena, otherwise known as Dying Breed Garage, because he chatted in the chat room here. One of my biggest fans here at Shea. And also I got to talk about Shecky Lawler, and a big shout out to my sister, Mary Allen McCarty, because she's just awesome in every way. House cleaning services 101. Yes, I got it. They're just awesome. And also, the best part is my mother's credit card doesn't work anymore. So I'm not even, my mother's actually, we could technically be back to Patrick. What Ewing, a conversation. What's that conversation like? Because we've done that here. There's been months where we had the Patreon going, the Chop Sports Patreon. My dad still gets billed every first. So sorry, Pop, you got billed today. But I look at the Patreon, and there'd be times where people's cards got declined, and do you call them? Do you say hey, how are things going? By the way, your credit card got declined today. We're trying to get paid here. It's usually
How do you address that?
it's usually that the credit card just expired, and it's not that they're like, "Oh, what are you drinking? What is that again?"
Massive, my
Yeah,
gallon of water.
again. I just what happened to a regular little water bottle? You got to
Because I
pull up
drink.
this.
You got to listen. My wife,
but
listen.
you look, but
She hears me drink. She hears me drink my like a normal standard bottle of water, and she's like, what's wrong with you?" Like I do it in like 2 gulps. It's like,
okay,
gone,
but you look,
done.
you look like I don't know what it looks like. It's a gallon drum that you bury a body in, putting it up and live on the air. What is that?
I mean, come on.
I bet what? Because listen, I saw your post this weekend, hanging out at the pool. You easily had 15 beers this weekend,
No,
and I was like,
I drank way too much this weekend, but not at the pool. I leave that up to. I just can't because I got the kids running around the pool, and I got to make sure I'm like all my wits to me while they're like about to fall in and shit.
All right. For now, once the kids are airborne with the pool stuff,
I'm face down in the deep end. You better find me.
You know, it's going to be like your kids are going to be like, "Hey, we got to watch Dad. Him and his dad, grandpa and my dad, they get ripped at the pool. They're going to drown one of these. I don't trust them anymore." And then his brother comes over. Everyone's hammered. I got to watch them now.
Yeah,
which is too funny. But all right, so you're drinking that gallon of water. So we're stuck in 34 at Patreon. There's nothing I can do there. God bless America. I just need another number. So I want to get to 35 so I can talk about number 36. But I do get texts from people as I'm getting phone calls here. I do get texts from people. People text me about players that are like number 34 and 35.
And they're not Patreon members?
But they're not Patreon members. I don't understand.
Isn't that the worst? That's
I
the worst.
feel like texting back going, "Hey,
I got a great 35 for you, but it's not me." But
I got a quick solution here. Why don't you just give your $3 and then we were moving right along? Because nobody cares about my Patreon number 17, Mickey Rivers, or number 10, Rick Cerrone. We're just stuck in Charles Oakley, who's selling. Which brings us, speaking of Charles Oakley,
yes,
that will bring us to Absolute Eyewear, your friend and mine, 42 Main Street, Woodbridge, New Jersey, 732-326-3937. That's right. Absolute Eyewear down at the train station at Woodbridge. Craig and Johnine Mashaud getting involved. They're opticians. They got everything. They got prescription eyewear, prescription sunglasses. You go in there, they take care of you. They measure your face. They make sure it looks right. They don't oversell you on some $4,000 pair of glasses if they look like shit. They're great people. He was my right center fielder, and Jay Bird has been a long-standing member of Chop Sports and the Jimmy Palumbo Show. You get $100 off a complete pair if you mention anything to deal with me and Dave or the Palumbo family, the weather.
Just say the word podcast.
Just say podcast. Say anything. Say, I heard this jerk off talking about this place. And you'll get but you got to buy 2. It's a pair of glasses here, Jay. Get $100 off. They've been in the business for 18 years. They're open 5 days a week, closed on Wednesdays. Why?
To play a little softball with you.
That's right. And they're closed on Sundays. Why?
To watch those goddamn New York football Giants.
That's right. The football Giants are on the air. The football Giants, everybody thinks they're going to go 13-4 this year. Right. I don't.
Not a soul thinks that right now.
People are way overrating the Giants, but that's okay. They're better now. That's all I got to say. But listen, they have Ray-Ban Coach, Ralph Lauren, Dave Sturchio's Jimmy Choo, Silhouette, Michael Kors, Vogue, Maui Jim, Costa Del Mar, and Charles Oakley personally brings his glasses. Go check it out. Absolute Eyewear. When you leave there, you don't feel like a jerk off. 732-326-3937. And yes, their air conditioning works. Absolute Eyewear getting involved here. Let's get into something here. Okay. I'm about to talk about something that I don't know anything about.
Oh, great.
So this is a classic. The whole show is based on me just sitting on the couch saying everybody sucks. That's my show.
What a shit.
Including myself. Okay. This women's soccer thing. Nobody's rooting for them, including the people in the United States. I've never seen this. What I don't want to be political. I'm not going there. Whatever you're doing, if you're playing for your country, any country, if you're playing for Zimbabwe, good evening, everybody. The Zimbabwe Open here, right? It doesn't matter. You're playing for Spain, Calcutta, whatever you're playing for, India, right?
Yeah.
If whatever you're saying publicly, okay, makes the country you play for, root for Zimbabwe against the United States, or Vietnam tied at 7 here, right? if whatever you're saying, something's wrong. Either you're not explaining yourself. I know you're not explaining the freedoms of your, whatever you're doing wrong. Like, you need a PR person go, yeah, let's hold off on that, because when you guys score, the fans boo. Okay, so something is wrong here. I don't understand it. Not even getting into women's soccer, as they've been great. But I watched the other game. They tied, and they played.
They tied again. They tied again last night, and it's like,
yeah, I mean, it's nothing. 3 a.m.
Apparently, well, you're right. I don't watch that.
Good
shit,
evening,
like,
everybody.
Yeah,
Welcome to the 3 a.m.
They get like the boogies out of the eyes and stuff. Like,
Jimmy
oh
Palumbo alongside Dave Sturchio for commentary on this 3 a.m. podcast here. I was going to do my podcast live as the game was on, but I elected not to do that. But I just, it's unbelievable. The Facebook posts, people are rooting against them. It's hysterical.
They're becoming unlikable people rather than like figures of being like representing America. And it's like, look, they another draw the other night, right? And it's like, they should have won, right? But they escaped with a draw, and they're like out there and they're like, and they're dancing and shit. And I'm just like, bro, wait a minute. Like,
they don't hold hands during the national anthem.
It's like they think they're a little bit higher than the common man, and maybe they are, because they're polarized and they're athletes. But just like, at the same time, it's like, come on, man, like, get the people behind you. You know, right now it's not very good.
It's not good at all, and we're gonna. I just don't get it. Listen, maybe their comments are right, whatever the hell they're commenting on, but I just don't get any of it. I don't root against the United States ever.
How could you?
You can't do that. It's just, you can't do it. However, you know, if you unless they're wearing like cowboy shirts next week when they're playing their game. This is another thing about soccer.
My Jersey Boys t-shirt today.
Shamelessly promoting the another thing I understand about soccer. I guess they're following the NBA rules. So the World Cup, it goes on for 7 months, because you play every 16 days. So they played last night. They don't play till like September 8th is their next game against Portugal or something like that. And I love the comments. You know, somebody texted me, yeah, well, Spain is tough. I'm like, well, what? Like, you don't know that. Americans don't know what.
No, those are the experts that come in here. Like, well, you got to watch out for Portugal's left winger. It's
hey, listen, the Netherlands,
right? Watch out for those Netherlands.
I can just say Jimmy Palumbo show from downtown Netherlands. But anyway, I did last week. I did stand-up. It's pretty funny, at the Breakers in Spring Lake, New Jersey, with a good buddy of mine, Ryan Marr. And it was classic. The Breakers is an old school, like kind of Irish hotel right on the water.
I've delivered there. I've delivered there. Like, I used to deliver there because that was my route for WB Mason. I swear to God, I used to deliver to the Breakers.
WB Mason.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, where they had the event.
It's an old school place, and there's a deli in Spring Lake called Joe's Deli. A guy named Joe runs it, and obviously, and his dad ran it for years. They've been running delis for 1,000 years, and he gets his get together with all his buddies that grew up around the Long Branch area and all his customers. And so the place, 140 people. It was a nice room. It was like a dual headlining show. Ryan did like 30 minutes and I did 30 minutes. I think we both did like 29 minutes. But the funniest part, very nice guys. The average age in this room, though, I would say, first of all, it was a petri dish of Italian, like it was like the Olive Oil Open. That's what it was. There was not a guy under 75 in the audience.
So you didn't do the depends joke.
These were, well, of course, Jimmy Palumbo, first pitch depends and it counts. I was like, they were nice guys, but they were like this is where the pinky rings originated. These guys, some of them still had the shitty jackets on, but they were all so very nice. The problem is, by the time we started, it went on and they ate, it was a buffet. Watching the old men trying to get through the buffet line was a rough go. And then all I remember is Ryan goes up there and they were enjoying the show, but they just weren't laughing. Some of these guys were 85, 81. Like the young guy was like 68. He was like a young, spry fella. And they were like enjoying the show, but not really laughing. I thought, oh, here we go. I'm going to open up with the depends joke. Fired across the bow right there. But it was like, the funniest thing for me was some of the guys, because they obviously had a drink or two, and they ate. Now they were, when older people just kind of go like, their tongues were hanging out watching. It was getting close to 9 o'clock. They were getting tired, and I'm up there going, "Hey, depends."
Jesus,
it was like, but you know what? They had a good time. The guy Joe was wonderful. He tipped me a few extra dollars, which is really sweet of him. And they were really a bunch of nice guys. But the best thing was there was a Monsignor in the room. And initially he was like, nah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about Potty Mouth. Don't worry about it. These guys are all from Long Branch, my buddies for years. Just don't worry about it. And I was like, well, I said, Joe, there's a Monsignor in the room, though. He's like, no, don't worry about it. He's cool. He's from Long Branch. Like I looked at Ryan, the other comedian, like, well, he's a Monsignor. Don't worry. He's from Long Branch. Like, so the Long Branch tag was well above the Monsignor. So, I'm up there dropping F-bombs and everything. I'm like, oh, this is so bad. But they seem to enjoy it. But it was just, it was just one of those shows. But I got paid. It's good to be down there, getting involved. I played softball yesterday. 1 for 3. First time up, I just slapped the base hit. Some of the fans were like, maybe someone in the upper deck never saw Johnny Trino just slap the base hit. From there, I did nothing. But the worst part is I was playing the outfield. I play right field now. And I'm still like, I can't move. I'm slow. I'm fat. But if the fly balls hit to me, I always said for years, and Craig Machad should totally listen to this. I hate when a ball's hit to you. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't hit off your glove, your cheek, your face. You just catch a ball and throw it in like you're 8 years old. Like, now, if you have to run to your left or right, you're older. I get it. But if it's like popped him up, a lazy fly to right field, Palumbo flips the shades, guys under it, makes the game. That's shades. It. You know what I mean? That's all it is, right? Elliot Maddox. Three people just drove off the road. So I don't understand. But you know what happened? These guys were bitching because we were short guys, so we added 4 guys from another team. Now, I understand adding players, but let me explain something. The 4 guys that we added, not one of them was over the age of 26. They all were monsters, right? So the guy was like, "Yeah, I just had to add a couple of guys." I'm like, "Oh, a couple of guys? You just added 4 studs to the lineup." They were hitting bombs all over. Anyway, we were up by 2 in the bottom of the 7th. And first guy got a base hit. And this big lefty got up. Now, lefties, I'm in right field. And I wasn't like the pitcher, I wasn't set because I would have took a couple of steps back because you don't want to get beat on a bomb to tie the game. Next thing you know, the ball's in the air. I'm not set. And the guy hits a Giancarlo bomb deep to right field. I run back. I couldn't get it.
It's just one of those, like, you just look up and
I was pissed because, again, I'm thinking I'm running hard after the ball, but anybody in the stands was like, look at that fat old man going back on the ball. But the ball was so high that I actually I had a beat on it, to be honest with you. It just fell, but he ended up a 2-run home run. Next guy got a base hit to right center field. He took second, base hit, game over. We lost. We have no outs. We still lost the game. But I was pissed because the ball was high enough. But it looks like I gave up because they were busting my balls. Which that's the rule. If you're the outfielder, the ball goes over your head. You got to catch it. Meanwhile,
were you hugging the line?
I was hugging the line. I didn't want to get beat down the line because I can't cover the line.
Right.
But I didn't get a chance to move back because that's the only thing. This guy was a big fat bastard. I would have hold him to 2 at least if I played deep. But of course, the one guy goes, Jimmy, that ball was hit like 450 feet. I was just trying to get my competitive juices going there. Which of course, so we lost the game, but it was fun playing with the guy. The name of our team's the Potbellies.
Oh, I've seen those guys. Those are the guys that are trying to trade Johnny Trino, right?
That's it. The guys who were trying to trade the great Johnny Trino. But it was still fun. It was a beautiful day at Shea. Not a cloud in the sky. The barometer is steady. All fans. I felt like it was some kind of bobblehead days. It's one of those days, first 10,000 fans that show up.
We had no fans. Bobblehead to give somebody.
But this is one of those leagues where you bring your beer out to the field. And you know what? As much as I don't mind
out to the field,
the shortstop brings his beer, puts it in the dirt. I said, you know what, guys? I don't mind drinking during the game, but I think there should be a rule, like
a little bit,
like let's keep a little decorum here. The self-umped. And Art, whenever we self-ump, there's always a critical play.
Wait, self-umped? What kind of fucking league is this?
There's no umpire. You self-ump. So, but the crazy thing is, Art, when we self-ump, we call critical plays against us. Like the guy's like, I'm like, no, he was safe. It's just crazy. The whole thing makes me crazy, but it's fun. Potbelly's here, which brings me to another one of my fine sponsors here from the Omni, cornholelevel.com. That's right. Listen, cornholelevel.com. These things are awesome. I'm holding it up here for those of you watching live. The Rutgers one is officially available. It won't ship for about another 2 or 3 weeks, but that's it. They got official word that they could do Rutgers cornhole levelers here at Shea. And I think I sent you a text. There's some kind of tournament going on.
Yeah, I gotta follow up with that.
These things are great. 20% off if you mention the JP show. What it does is it totally levels your cornhole board to be the right angle. You do not want to have this, Dave.
It's like anybody who stops this reads like it totally levels your cornhole. It's like,
I know.
What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Back in the 80s in San Francisco, there was tons of these being sold. But I remember when my cornhole got leveled. We were back at
and here I thought I didn't have to do much editing here today, folks, but we're going to leave that one in for comedic relief.
Cornholelevel.com. Check these things out. They're $19.95, 20% off your order. My buddy Mike Caprio. These things are a great gift, a stocking gift, a gag gift, a bustin' balls gift, but they do work. They're awesome. Go check it out. Cornhole Level, and they just re-upped when he sends me the check anyway. So
if it clears, if
it clears, here at Shea. So the Yankees. Wow.
Garbage. The trade
something,
deadline's today. We'll see what happens.
No, I don't think it matters. You know what? I think I was never a get rid of Boone Cashman guy. But you know what? Maybe, first of all, I didn't realize Cashman actually was the one who acquired Ruth. That's how long he's been there. And he was a master of ceremonies at Garrick's Speech. I feel like Cashman, he was like 9 when he took over the job. He was in my daughter's class. And now he's been there. It's like 1996 to me is like Yogi Berra, like black and white videos now.
I was 10.
I think it's time. They just seem, I don't know.
Well, my biggest thing right now is Boone. And the reason why, and look, I understand players play, right? So it's like, if you're striking out, that's on the player. If you're making errors, that's on the player. There's certain things that the manager can't do about what's happening. However, you can't keep going out there and pressing like play on your like post-game speech. Like every day it's the same song and dance. Yesterday he said, and I quote, well, I'll paraphrase because I don't have the quote in front of me, but he said something along the lines of, outside of the strikeouts, we were grinding. We were in there. Now, ready for this? 18 of the 27 outs recorded were strikeouts. So where are we grinding, Boone?
And on
where exactly is that effort?
And on Sunday, they struck out, I think, 11. So it's like 30, 40.
And how about this? Judge has been off for months with an injury, but like the third day back, he needs a day off.
That pissed me off. Hey,
what are we doing? You're not trying to win games. You're not.
Listen, if we were playing the Cleveland Indians and the game nobody cares about, I would say, okay, you want to bench
every
him.
game matters when you're this far back.
But when you're playing the next couple of games here, we got Tampa Bay and we just got done with Baltimore.
Right.
It's like, Aaron, you could sit when we play like the Royals again. What are you talking about? And my boy Giancarlo just looks. He looks lost. And you know what? I question again. I question a little bit. I don't want to say hitting coach, bad pitching coaches, but like maybe the whole staff. If they get rid of Boone, I want a whole new regime. I think it's time.
Well, they brought in Sean Casey to be the new batting coach, right? And like all of a sudden you had John Boy and guys like that, like breaking down, like, you see Giancarlo today? He bent over just a little bit and he looks a little hunched over and he makes contact with the inside pitch. When last week without Sean Casey, he wasn't doing that. And then the next day he strikes out 3 times. So like the hitting coach, they all just need to go. They need to clean house. You want to build the team around Judge. You like Volpe? Sure, keep him. But like the rest of these guys, they don't get it.
They don't play. Another thing, like we don't have players. Like we don't have a left fielder. We don't have a center fielder.
They don't.
We don't have we have Judge and Wright.
Right.
Why can't we get like you know what?
Are we
I'll be
supposed to
honest
get
with you.
excited about Jake Bowers hitting a home run yesterday?
The
Like,
Yankees should have.
power. I'm like, what are we talking about here? Who's Jake fucking Bowers?
I don't think the Yankees should have ever gotten rid of Brett Gardner when they did, only because
could have brought him back this year. He wasn't retired.
Only because like he was a left fielder.
And
ready? Left field.
But Jimmy, what did I call you when you came onto the Chop Sports softball team? Clubhouse guy.
Clubhouse guy.
A clubhouse guy. So even if he's not batting 350, at least when you have Gardner's up in your ass and he's saying, like, don't, fucking hustle. Do something. Yeah. Up until his last at bat, he was hustling down the line. You got guys like Gleyber Torres popping out who could have turned into doubles and they're jogging and laissez-faire.
Yankees don't put the ball in play. I tell you what, come back. Once you're down by 2 or 3.
George Steinbrenner, he'd throw them all on the lake. Right in the fucking Hudson. He'd throw them all out. Goodbye.
And, listen, I've been Rizzo started off batting 300 beginning of the year, and I said he'll bat 225. He can't hit shit either. He's doing awful. Listen, bottom line is 2 months ago, they're 3.5 back of the wild card. And it's not like football where if we shit the bed, we get a better draft pick. So I still want the Yankees to make the playoffs. I enjoy baseball.
Of course. You ready for this?
7-0 with nobody out.
Alarm, right, in the first inning. The alarming stat. The last time, it's August 1st today, obviously, as we record this show. The last time the Yankees were in last place in August 1st, was 1990. It's been 30 plus years since they've been in this spot.
Crazy.
And
That's
nobody wants to say anything. Nobody wants to say anything. They'll fix it. It's all out there in front of them. No, it's not. There's only a month left of the season.
Boone looks tired. You're right. Boone at the press conference looks tired. You know what part of me? I think Boone's like, if I'm Boone's wife, I'm like, honey, listen, you made money as a ball player. Your dad made money. Our family's been making money off baseball for 50 years. You just added another $15 million to our thing while I coach the Yankees. Just come home. I got something in the oven. I'll make a nice chicken. A nice little.
And you know what? Maybe he is. He's like, not at the end of that. We're just like, maybe he's not even there. You want to talk about? We talked about this last week, but maybe there's AI. Maybe it's AI, Aaron Boone. It's not even him. Program them and say the same shit. Just like mix the words up a couple. I gotta go. I got steak in the oven. Like, what are we talking about?
But in another way, I feel bad for Aaron Boone because what he can't say is, guys, I'm so sorry. We strike out every time up, and that hurts our offense. But my biggest complaint is, and Gleyber Torres does this, and he's actually not doing all that bad. But how about when it's like first and second, nobody out, and Gleyber gets up, he swings at that first pitch as if he's not a care in the world. He's out with the butterflies, flying a kite, the beginning of Sound of Music. Like here's no sense of drama. He just takes a hack, and there's no sense of like, let me. I know it's true in all baseball teams, but I like when a guy first and second, 7th inning, you're down 3-1, like I dig in a little bit. You know what I mean? Get a walk, maybe a base hit, cut it to 3-2. He just hacks away and he spins the bat, goes back. He's just like, making money here. I'm just hacking
who
away.
they need? You know who they need? They want to fire everybody. Want to bring in a new hitting coach just for that last month or so of the season. The boo-boo. Bring boo-boo back. Bring Ruben Sierra back.
You know what? I want Ruben Sierra as the manager with his big rings, and he does salsa in the dugout.
Yeah. Your friend and mine. Your new friend who follows you on Instagram.
You know what's funny? Cecil Fielder and Ruben Sierra, they struck out a lot. Not nearly as much as they do now. But that's because the middle relief guys are throwing 107 miles an hour.
I know.
But the Yankees, and listen, we're being pissant. All these Met fans out there could totally be busting our balls. The Yankees have been good for a very long time.
Mets, and they just traded.
I'm talking about. We do sound like.
I mean, because we're not used to this. We're not used to this. That's all.
The Mets situation. What's funny about Cohen? Like now he's selling people and shit. It's like, Cohen, why you get rid of him? They may get rid of more players today.
He's got the money to do it. He's eating all these contracts.
I don't know. To me, I don't know. Showalter's starting to look like Burgess Meredith now. I mean, he just looks like, I'm going to play ball. I feel bad for him. That's another guy. Hey, Buck, you how old are you now? Is it like, has your wife got, like, what if Buck Showalter's wife and Aaron Boone's wife are friends? What are they like? I know. I just want him to come home. he just looks old and stupid now after the game. He looks like
it's like they wind up looking like. Have you ever seen the president at the beginning of a term and then see him at the end, no matter who it is?
He looks like a young buck. He's all excited.
Right.
End of the term. He's like,
I think Obama went in with like black hair and he comes out full gray. It's just like,
he looks like an aging LeBron.
Right.
It's so funny. They get rid of Robertson. The Mets are 18 games back. They're 6.5.
They gave rid of Robertson. They gave rid of Robertson, and they asked Scherzer about it. He's like, I don't know. You got to talk to the front office. Everybody's got to talk to the front office. Like,
wait a minute. First of all, that's another thing that annoys me. You trade a guy for the betterment of your team, and like you got to talk to Scherzer. No, you don't. If I was Cohen, I'd be like, hey, bro, shut your mouth. I could actually just cut you and write you a check, and it doesn't affect my life at all. It's like me buying coffee at Starbucks. Like when you have that much money as Cohen does, you could be a real asshole. Like, oh, you don't like it here? I'm just go play for someone else.
Enjoy Texas. It's 110 degrees out there.
What do I owe you? I still owe you $48 million. Here you go. Bye.
Ready for this? They traded him. They traded him to Texas, and in the deal, in the language of the deal, Cohen's paying $22 million of his contract. And he doesn't give a shit.
And another thing, Chris Gucci was named in that trade. Did you see that? I turned the game on last night. Fly ball to Gucci, fields it cleanly, fires it in, one away. I was like, that's unbelievable to me. I feel like I'm gonna. You know what? Imagine if like they had the trading deadline, but they could include anybody in the world part of the trade. Can you imagine? Like, I get a phone call, Jimmy, you got to go play for Texas. What? I just got and a podcast to be named later.
Yeah.
Cut to me on the sideline. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Arlington here, where the Rangers will take on. I think a fan should be traded.
Who is that guy? Why does he keep talking about Charles Oakley? What's happening?
Absolute eyewear down here in Arlington. I just think I think fans for years. I used to tell my brother all the time, I've been dying. Not so much now. I'm too old. I wanted to get traded as a Rutgers fan. Like I was seriously like, I think there should have been some kind of alumni association. But you get a letter. You get a letter saying, Jimmy, I'm so sorry. You got to root for Villanova now. Like what? Yeah. And I would love to get like traded to like Georgia Tech. Give me something like I don't want to go to Georgia, Auburn, or Clemson, one of those really good teams. Like, just send me to like a decent, I don't know, Boise State for a year. Like
beautiful Bluefield.
Yeah, Bluefield. Here we go. And then afterwards, I do my podcast from downtown Boise State here. I just think fans should be traded. Vinny from Queens gets let go. He's on Cleveland now. I think that would be such
uprooted, where he has to leave his family in Queens and just go to some rural area.
And his wife's like, "You're such a big fan. You're never here, honey. I got to go to Cleveland. I just got traded." Everybody moving to Cleveland. That would be great. Instead of fantasy players, fantasy fan league. And so, in other words, like someone would be like, "Hey, listen, we can trade a Dave Sturchio. He's a big Cowboy fan. I can move him to another." You have to you just get moved to a different team. Like
he's got value.
You know
he's got value.
Listen, he's a big Cowboy fan. They haven't won in a while. Packers just got rid of Rodgers. Let's see if we can ship Sturchio to the Packers over there. And Gucci, we're gonna switch Gucci to the Jets because he's a big Aaron Rodgers guy.
Oh,
fantasy fan player.
All the stuff, all the Aaron Rodgers stuff that was at this studio has been removed.
It's like, it
was like a bad breakup when he got you. And now every interview, 2 years ago, every interview that Aaron Rodgers did, Chris would look at me like, man, this guy's like, he gets it, bro. He's a dude. He's like one of us. Yeah. Now he gets like the opening press conference of the Jets. Turn that shit off, that piece of shit. What a jerk off. And it's like, listen, what are you talking about? You loved him 8 minutes ago.
Listen, I absolutely love that. I've said it before. I think the Packers are now, I love when some of these fans, like my nephew's a big Chief fan, right? And he's like, no, after Mahomes, we got a good organization. I'm like, listen to me very clearly, my little nephew. When Mahomes retires, you guys are going to stink. Because in the history of football, only 3 teams since 1925 have gotten rid of their maybe best player of all time. And like all of a sudden, no one's talking about that tough Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. And it's like,
yeah, no, they're all like, hey, listen, we went from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield. We're not going to miss a beat.
It's like,
oh, no.
Oh, here you go. The Packers got Love. What's his name? Darren Love? Whatever.
Jordan Love.
Like Jordan Love. I mean, he stinks. These guys stink.
I always ask Chris, and I try to think that he's going to be realistic, but then I'm like, so how do you think they're going to do? He's like, well, it all depends on Jordan Love. What do you mean depends on Jordan Love? You've never seen him. He's thrown 3 balls in the NFL, and all of a sudden it depends on what he does.
Yeah. How about 2.5 minutes ago, Packers down by 4, and they got a punt, and Rod, no, it's going to be Love rolls out, fires a little high. It's just not. When your team gets rid of your complete stud guy, 9 times out of 10, you're in for a bad. It's just the way it is. Yankees got rid of Jeter, and how have they done? So.
Isaiah Falefa, who's played every position known to man this year, brother.
And I just didn't even. All I think is like falafels when you order at the food truck, and it sounds like they're saying, well, he's kind of Falefa. Well, it's not a. What it is,
all the way Falefa. He's kind of Falefa.
Well, no, it's not a sandwich. What it is, it's kind of. I feel like saying no, it's not falafel. It's kind of falafel. I mean, the guy plays on the Yankees. That's what it sounds like. It is. IKF sounds like. It's like the chicken place. Like, oh, dude, I just got the chicken at IKF. It's so great. Like,
it was actually kind of falafel.
Yeah, it was kind of falafel. I just don't understand you with that gallon of water.
Bro, I get parched quick.
Okay. It's parched day here at the stadium.
Parched day.
Well, the Yankees and Mets, which brings me to chasing miracles.
Which they are.
Listen, chasing miracles. ChasingMiracles.com. Got to talk to Donna and Tommy. Phototherapy patches uses light to stimulate the body's natural healing systems. I'm wearing one right now on my back. They're effective, inexpensive way to reactivate your own stem cells using your own personal body source. These things are cool. You see the swimmers wear them. Athletes wear them all the time. They're now a little smaller. There's the X39, X49 patches. My mom's using them right now here at Shea. These things are really cool. They also have the hydration packs for getting your water to get more calcium stuff in you and good nutrients and shit your body needs. Go to chasingmiracles.com. Talk to Donna and Tommy. Check this stuff out. You're going to love it. There's just just research on it and stuff. I actually did a little Google. I had to get involved, and I'm like, oh, shit, some of this shit really stays true. But, if you're having 9 glasses of wine every night, these patches may not help you, as I did last night, casually.
What's the story behind the picture that you posted and people started commenting about it with like your dad's wine or your dad's liquor?
Yeah, you know what? I was looking for a picture and I saw a picture of Gallo Paisano wine. So I put it as part of the. I didn't even see it.
What the hell is that? And then people are chiming in like, "Oh, great bottle." It's like, what are we talking about?
You know what that was? That was old school, old man wine.
Okay.
Because back in the day, you used to have the cheap wine underneath the table. And so they made this little bottle, and I kept it here when my dad died. So every holiday I go and I give the red wine that my dad drank. I actually love it. I mean, some people say it's too sweet. It's inexpensive wine, but you know what? To me, it's like drinking wine. If you're gonna have like 5 or 6 glasses of wine at a holiday event, as my father used to say, it doesn't give you a headache like those good wines do. Like that. You've been since 12:30. You've been drinking wine. Calm down over there. But
anything will give you a headache.
He liked the Paisano. And my uncle liked the white wine, the Chablis. It's Chablis day here at Shea. But they got rid of those cute little bottles. They changed the bottle, which sucked. But somebody said they're bringing them back because people got pissed off. But anyway, where the hell am I? Okay, so all right, well, the strike here, my acting career on hold. No auditions, not fun. I got to go on a picket line again this week. I hope it gets settled. It just everybody seems so far apart. But I did book actually a film. I probably shouldn't even talk about it, but
I was going to say you're crossing the picket line here, buddy.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought. So I said, hey, ho. But supposedly there's a few contracts that SAG-AFTRA has with certain levels of this low budget thing. So I called up SAG. I said, hey, good evening, everybody. Is this? She said, yeah, that's okay. And then I see Sarah Silverman ripping on actors for working on these small things. I'm like, you know what I mean? Sorry, Sarah, you make a few more dollars than I do.
I was going to say, yeah, it must be high. It must be tough in that ivory tower.
Well, listen, it's either you're allowed to do it or you're not allowed to do it. It's simple as that. And
you know what? You got a leg up on it. You're 124 episodes deep, but it looked to me that I discovered that Dave Collier, or Uncle Joey from Full House, is now launching a Full House podcast where they're going to go over like all the old episodes and stuff. He's going to be doing podcasts because got nothing else going on.
But he shut that down too, I think.
Did he? I thought
Because
I just saw that article.
I thought he might have paused it because he's using SAG-AFTRA like studio owned stuff
okay.
like that. That's what I heard.
Well,
I'm not sure.
He's got to go checking at Mawa and get the downtown.
Listen, by the way, if you see how much I'm making on this short film, 2 days in East Meadow, Long Island, and the main reason why I'm going to do it, but I'll get assurances from SAG that I can do it before I get on set. But is a guy I got the movie coming out called Fresh Kills about Staten Island, and I was working with Dominic Lombardozzi, and there was a young kid who played the love interest on the show, on the movie. The movie's coming out, I think, next year. And he must have caught me busting balls one day at the kitchen table in the scene while the cameras were being reloaded. And so this whole scene is me playing an Italian guy busting balls. So he hired me based on like, I want Jimmy Palumbo to be in the movie. And you love that because usually I have to fight and scrape for every foul shot late in the game. Palumbo going to the line down by 2. And this was like, no, I'll take this, So if I'm cleared with SAG, I will be able to
you're starting to resemble, you're starting to resemble somebody that you co-starred with once upon a time. You're starting to resemble one Johnny Drama, where you're just starting to get these roles at late in your career. Like, you know what? I'm going to plug away until something pops, and then next thing you know, you're in 5 pounds.
You know what? It's a bloop and a bomb, bro. That's how it works.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
To left. And also, let's talk about a couple of things. Did you see the Wilt Chamberlain documentary yet?
I did not.
Worth your time.
Where is it?
I think it's on Showtime.
Okay.
But it's probably it's on demand, whatever the hell it is. I don't know if you have Showtime, but really interesting. I didn't know half that shit. What an amazing. I used to drive by where he lived in like Beverly Hills, at the top of the Beverly Hills. He lived on the top in a huge house, 1-bedroom house. He had this huge bedroom where the roof opened up to look at the sky and everything. And I didn't realize he played for Kansas, left. He got drafted and this team, but he ended up playing 1 year and then played for the Harlem Globetrotters. Like, can you imagine? Like, and really? Michael Jordan's going to go to the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus here. Like, and he was making twice the money. He was the first NBA superstar. He's the reason why he should have it should be called the Wilt Trophy. He was taller than everybody else. So a lot of people said he had no heart. He also got injured. The famous Willis Reed game, Wilt got hurt in that year. And everybody says that, Willis Reed ate him up. And a lot of games, he had to place Bill Russell in the finals every year. But what people don't realize is Wilt Chamberlain was scoring 35, 40 points a game. Like, and but he didn't win. He finally won a championship late in his life. But this guy he got laid. But his book, the famous 20,000 girl thing, they finally put that in perspective of how he was just talking trash and he put it in the book and he got mad because he felt that's the only thing anybody ever wanted to talk about. But I thought this documentary, Wilt Chamberlain was an awesome basketball player and a great athlete and a really good dude. And he started volleyball leagues for women that no one knows about. He was very generous with his money, took care of his mother and father, took care of his aunts, his uncles, his sisters, his brothers. He was a really, really good dude.
It's funny that you bring this up because me and Chris had a conversation on one of our shows about Wilt Chamberlain not too long ago, and it kind of went viral. It started to pick up some steam. Have you heard about the rumor that since, he has been with all these women, right? And all his whole playing career, right? That there's potential rumors out there that he could potentially be the father of one Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge was adopted.
I did not hear.
Aaron Judge was adopted, okay, and apparently there is an Aaron Gordon who plays in the NBA who looks identical to him, and he's also named Aaron, right? Aaron Gordon. And Wilt Chamberlain, according to some people, think that this potentially could be the father of both Aaron Judge and Aaron Gordon.
Well, I
don't want to start any rumors.
No. Well, first of all,
it's out there.
He did have an illegitimate son that he acknowledged after a while, and that's on the you know what? You have to watch the documentary.
I will just for that.
It's very, very interesting. I think he gets a bad rap. The other documentary I watched, I love these music documentaries, and I watched the one on Creedence Clearwater Revival, who has they have 20 songs that are part of the Americana of music, rock music. But really all it was a concert documentary, like of a live concert from Albert Hall in London.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you know, the history with Creedence Clearwater after 1972 and John Fogerty and arguing with the band and lawsuits, and the band didn't want nothing to do with them. They didn't speak at the Hall of Fame when they got in. The Hall of Fame wouldn't let the other band members play with him on stage. They all got in as a CCR and all that. None of that was in this documentary. So if you want to watch a concert from 1971 from London of CCR, it's a great documentary. If you want to learn about what maybe a prick Fogerty and arguments with his own brother and the record label shit, which I love all that music business stuff, this is not for you. I was like, after a while, how many times can I hear Proud Mary? And, Ike and Tina Turner did it better anyway. But so anyway, which brings us to, of course, Oxy Magic carpet cleaning, OxyMagicUSA.com. That's right. OXY magic.com. Why in the Oxy? Because they're the best. They're not your traditional carpet company. They don't drag hoses through your house. They got the guys coming in here. They got this machine. The dry time is an hour or two. It's all green, EPA, safer choice. It doesn't smell like shit when they leave. They're nice people. They do wall carpet, area rugs, upholstery, tile, and grout day here from the Omni. They got 80 locations nationwide. OxyMagicUSA.com. OXY here at Shea. MagicUSA.com. They're also opening, again, me and Dave talk to us in about a year. They're offering 0% company financing for new location owners. Welcome to downtown Mattawa, where Jimmy and Dave will be cleaning your carpets while we do a podcast. They're offering financing for it. It's really cool. OxyMagicUSA.com. Go talk to Tommy DeMeo, which I haven't seen you in a while. You don't come down to the pickle courts that's because you want nothing to do with me. I'll have to bitch slap you when you come there. Actually, that's not true. He's way better than me. His wife's better than me, too. Oxy Magic USA, a fine, proud sponsor of my fine show. Now, speaking of another thing, did you watch the 2008 Olympic hoops documentary? The Redeem Team. Did you see that one?
Oh, I heard of that. I did not see it.
It's great. You know what? It's a great one. I forgot. Like, I didn't realize
Kobe on that team and LeBron. Yeah. Okay.
Kobe came on late after they lost a year before. They lost 2006. They lost in 2004. In 2006, they went to the finals. Krzyzewski took over. All the players were like, Coach K, he's a college coach. I'm not listening to his bullshit. And they were ripping on Larry Brown. And so then they realized, like, wait a minute, this Coach K is into this whole team thing. And he told them, guys, this is a 3-year deal. You're going to be practicing with me for 2 months for 3 years each year and blah, blah, blah. But the last year they brought in Kobe. And I didn't realize Kobe had just ratted out Shaq, and he was kind of at a crossroads in his career. And then Kobe Bryant, they said right away, first practice, he was like sticking it to people. And I was like, Kobe's in the house. Again, as a Knicks fan, I was in LA during a lot of the Kobe thing. But like, to me, it's like, I'm not a Laker fan. I could care less. But man, Kobe was tough, man. Much different. He was also a loner. He didn't get along with the guys in the beginning, but not because he didn't like him. He was more about see at practice. But there's one part of the documentary that I really loved. They won a big game, second round of one of those, those national tournaments. And they were in Vegas. That's where they had their camp. And they have Carmelo Anthony and a bunch of other guys, Dwayne Wade. They all went out. Now, you're talking about NBA guys making $20 million a year. They all decided to go out in Vegas, right? So he's like, we were partying, having a good time. We didn't get home till 4 or 5:30 in the morning. It's what you do in Vegas. We walk in the lobby. Who's got his gym bag walking out of the elevator? Kobe Bryant's going to the gym to work out, to get ready for practice at like 2 p.m. And Dwayne Wade was like, what? Like, he didn't go out last night? Like, he's like ready to go. And Kobe just looked at everybody and gave him a look like, I'm going to the gym to get better, like that kind of deal. And so Dwayne Wade's like, next day, nobody went out. We got up early. We met him in the gym. But Carmelo Anthony, one of them was like, well, I ain't getting up at 6 a.m. to go to the gym. It's like at 8, but he goes, I got there at like 9 or 10 though. But like they was like, I'm not getting up that early. Probably he totally changed the whole. But in that final game for the gold, I think it was Spain they played. They just completely, the USA played great, but Spain didn't miss a shot. They shot 70% from the floor. And it was always like a 5-point game. Very good documentary. You really get to see a different side of, I'm not a fan of Carmelo Anthony, but he does give you a different side of him. And so does Dwayne Wade.
You're not a fan of Carmelo, man. New York guy, Knicks.
Stinks.
He's the one who chased Jeremy Lin out of town.
Oh, yeah. Another thing, Linsanity, the greatest thing that happened since Willis Reed in New York. And Carmelo's like, I don't like this little guy. Get rid of him. Like, what? And he ended up playing another 5 years in the league.
And he wound up winning a title, I think, with
oh,
Spurs.
My God. I mean, Carmelo Anthony, since Carmelo, it's all like that Randall isolation. Nobody likes it. Anyway, well worth it for sure. And another doc, I was watching some shows this week because I was curious.
How much time do you have, Jimmy?
Well, I've watched them over the last couple of weeks, but I just didn't. I have notes on. I watched them all last night. Yeah. Time. That's like talking about time management over there, Shay. This is something. The people that are going to follow what I'm about to say. First of all, Dave. You can almost sign off now because you're going to be like, "What are you talking about?" There's a documentary called Bombshell. It's about an actress in the 40s, Hedy Lamarr. It is unbelievable. She was this unbelievably hot actress in the 30s and 40s, like a 10 and a half on 11.
There were people that were hot in the 30s and the 40s.
Let me tell you something. She's one of them that looks hot now. Like she looks hot. Even you're like, oh my God, this girl's smoking. And she did some kind of risque movies a little bit. She was in like The Robe with Victor Mature, those biblical movies. She barely had any clothes on, blah, blah, blah. But she also invented like sonar and things to like track missiles and torpedoes and like she is really you know what she did? She invented Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and how we fly our planes and it's like this.
And she also got piped out on camera, so she's well-rounded.
She lived like an old lady. She lived in the city. She knew she was a beauty, so she unfortunately just completely hung out in her apartment because she knew she looked older and she hated that fact. Very sad ending to her life. But like she invented major technology and the government like suppressed it. They gave her the patent and then they said, well, you're not quite a citizen the right way. They took it away from her. And then years later but she ended up getting a major award from there's this like some kind of, I'm blowing the whole name, Sonar and Technology Society of America, where these guys like invent the shit that we use every day. And they gave her an award. And pretty much the guy said, yeah, that was the actress. She did it all. I just followed the shit that she wrote down. Really wild. It's only an hour documentary, but my friend Robin's probably laughing at this right now because she probably knows. You shouldn't have watched the thing. I know you're a big feminist, Robin. You're going to laugh at this lady. She was a badass for sure. But anyway, which brings me to the Pine Tar Bar and Grill as we get to the end of our show here from Hedy Lamarr, Day and Shave. I think my Uncle Gene used to love Hedy Lamarr too. Pine Tar Bar and Grill, 121 South Main Street, Forked River, New Jersey, 609-489-4286. They got a million TVs. They got a million games on. The food is awesome. It's run by my buddy Tommy, a good guinea. And the food is good. Go check it out. It's the best sports bar in New Jersey. And also, if you're feeling like shit, you're a little down and out, Dave, call my friend Lisa Ruane, 201-725-1251. She's a certified therapist. I'm big on this. If you're not feeling well, you don't feel right, give this person a call. I'm joking around about it, but it's a serious thing. Lisa's cool. She gets it. She'll help you out, guide you through. I hate to see anybody suffer with any kind of mental illness without at least trying to get help. 201-725-1251. God bless America. And she's great. And I think that's about it here at Shea. Tomorrow is August 2nd. That's a big day. Do you know why that's a big day?
August 2nd.
1979.
Something about Reggie Jackson?
No.
Oh, all right. Close.
One of the most popular Yankees of all time.
1977?
79. August 2nd, 1979.
Anything to do with Donnie?
Eight games back of the Orioles in 79. Your attention, please. Number 15, Thurman
Munson.
Okay. Thurman died tomorrow. Was that so 44 years ago? I remember like it was yesterday. I was a little kid, devastated. But Richard Thomas chiming in. Thurman, of course, Louis Viccidomini knew. What a bad. I always say the Yankees, the Orioles won like 127 games that year. They won the World Series, but the Yankees were like 8 games back. They finally got everybody healthy. They started to get in a groove, and Munson dies in a plane crash. And the crazy thing is that like Ron Guidry and Reggie were supposed to go with him to fly back.
That's crazy.
Imagine, like it's crazy. And he died. He died like the other guy in the plane with him got out, and he just couldn't get the.
Was it like a commercial flight? I don't remember.
No, he was flying a big jet. Your classic example of. So here's my rule: if you have a lot of money, you only buy a Piper Cub, so you know what the fuck you're doing, instead of buying a Cessna jet. And you don't learn how to land. Okay, that's not how it works. You start small, you learn a little bit, and then you get better.
It's like those guys that decided to go to the submarine thing.
It's like
play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Even like John Denver died in an aircraft that was made out of like pixie sticks. I mean, why don't these guys like? I feel weird when I get on a big commercial jet. And all of a sudden, this guy's, I got an experimental plane. It has like a propeller that with a rubber band. What are you doing? I don't get any of this. So it's awful. Thurman Munson died 44 years ago. Tomorrow, that's it. The Jimmy Palumbo Show. Getting involved. Stay tuned for next week where we're going to have a very special guest. Dave, thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
I did talk to Chris this week. Maybe we'll get
He told me that.
I haven't talked to him in 3 months.
You don't understand. You're not the only one that like there's never it's like there's a new game every day. It's an everyday where is Chris Gucci day. Well, like every day.
I know he's working hard from home.
Of course.
There's another game. You could do it now on Atlantic City. Vegas has had it for a while. You got to choose which phone that Chris may answer. So like you spin the cell phone and you don't know there's like 8 numbers for him. That's the Artie Lang method. Make it impossible for anybody to get in touch with you by having a dummy phone, a burner phone, a business phone. I have one cell phone. It's been the same since cell phones were invented when I got my StarTAC. I think, you know what? Next week, I'm going to do a whole thing on the StarTAC phone. By far, it was the first flip phone, the best phone ever. If anybody gets that, they're going to let Louis Viccidomini. I know you had a StarTAC. Anyway, that's my show, Dave. Thank you very much. Have a good week. And shout out to my daughter who's in Montauk at Gurney's. I miss you, babe. Hope you have a great time with your friends. And I will see you when you get back. Good evening, everybody. It's a good one here from the Omni in Atlanta. This is for the chicken. I'll see you. Bye.